flight. And Robin Boyd-Masters punched that for 4 underneath us. That's a fine shot. Let's see if Harper can make that. He certainly can, and how. Oh, a bit wild. Good backing up by Wayne Larkins. And you can see that Northants are not out of the running either. They've only played 4 matches. So if they win this one, they'll be up there with Somerset, Essex and Yorkshire, providing, of course, Somerset and Essex lose. And Kent, very good one-day players. They're up there as well. 14 points from 5 games. This is Harper. Game at the moment. And we've got David Bairstow, who's the ideal man to come in when you're looking for quick runs. Neil Hartley. That's a fine low. A bit of fielding by David Capel right underneath us. That's the single.
Worry. And I'm glad to say it's becoming a better afternoon gradually here. A lot of rain further north, and so the prospect of 200 plus for Yorkshire, and I think they'll need at least that. Northamptonshire, an extremely powerful batting side, even without Alan Lamb. And there's 50 for Kevin Sharp. Beautifully timed stroke. Generous applause from the local crowd for Sharp's 50 off 65 balls, and that was his 4th 4. And appropriately enough, it's his 100th John Player match today. Rather a meteoric career, really, Kevin Sharp. In his early days, he looked like an England player in the making. Then he went right back, but he's been much more consistent and a very important member of the Yorkshire side now. He and Bill Effie really made their starts together. Missing leg stump, I think, as a one-day bowler. Very nearly a fine stop by Nick Cook. Took the pace off it anyway. And Capel very nearly getting back to that one. Bit of life there. Larkins' throw absolutely spot on, and umpire David Evans in perfect position to judge that Neil Hartley hadn't quite made his ground. Let's have another look at it. Walker bowling just outside leg stump, clipped away off his toes, and Larkins sprinting in from mid-wicket, picking up one-handed, and definitely the bat just a fraction of a second too late. Still a good knock by Neil Hartley. Coming in ahead of his normal place in the order is Mr. Indestructible, the skipper of Yorkshire, David Bairstow. Resume. And I think they'll look for a second, and they'll get it easily enough. He's off the mark. What a deft little shot too. 4 runs. Walker to Bairstow. I need a new butler. Philip Robinson is coming out at number 5 then for Yorkshire. And striking straight away. So Philip Robinson joins the primary club, a worthy charity for blind cricketers. And let's have another look at it. Wilde coming back on, straight on the spot, on a good length and straight. Robinson playing slightly across it, and a fairly familiar dismissal. Seeing the technical deficiencies which have been exposed up at Headingley, one can't help wondering whether the need to work the ball around straight away in this limited overs cricket isn't always the best way of training test batsmen. Robin Boyd-Moss. Oh, what a brilliant bit of fielding. And that's typical Jim Love. Hit very, very straight, and it's the best place to hit them, really. Again, he's found the gap, and it's, although it was no more than a nudge, seeing it again, and I don't think one can disagree with umpire David Evans. See no reason why that shouldn't have hit the stumps. So Jim Love. Bowley's 6th over. In the air, but he's risking that. And what a shame. Kevin Sharp run out. Good throw by Alan Walker. It was a distinctly risky second run. So Kevin Sharp got 1 run for the first run safely completed, but run out on the second for 94. Fine innings. And we'll have another look. Chipped away into the deep cover region and landing in front of Walker, but Walker seeing that he couldn't have taken the catch, but if he got that throw in quickly, and Stuart Waterton whipping off the bails, and another Yorkshireman bites the dust. But the familiar rounded shoulders of Arnie Sidebottom. There's one at one time team possible here. Oh, oh, I don't know what happened there. Sidebottom with his back to us, and I presume it must have jammed his glove against the bat handle. He seemed to play it down in front of him fairly capably, but Sidebottom has certainly hurt his fingers, I think. Let's have another look at that. Wild appears to be a fairly mild pace, but yes, it obviously leapt up and just wrapped him on the glove, jammed it against the handle, and a very painful blow indeed for Arnie Sidebottom.
Wasn't it, from a medium-pace bowler?
It didn't look so clever for a first ball. That's one that you don't really want, is it? Want a bit of confidence, you don't want them for this ball.
Let's have another look at that, because as he went out, you shouted to him from where we're sitting on the edge of the boundary to use up all the overs, and he gave you a wry smile. It looks like he's coming straight off.
I don't think he's smiling so much now, the old boy.
He's a good competitor, Arnie, isn't he? He wouldn't come off unless he was fairly badly hurt.
No, I mean, he's gone through a fair bit of football and he's had a broken arm playing cricket. If there's got to be something wrong with him for him to come off, which is it's a big blow for us, that.
Let's have another look. You could get some idea of the bounce here. It really was. It went steeply, didn't it?
That's very... The odd one's been fairly spongy bounce out, Kevin, plus the fact he got a very big 100 at Harrogate. But he's got in and he's been going in first. I think it's an added advantage of having a right-hander and a left-hander going in first. And he's capitalised on the chances that he's had.
We were saying earlier that he looked, well, I suppose 6 or 7 years ago, like a possible young England player. And then he went off the boil, then he went out of the game because he found the pressure too much mentally. Then he's come back now, he's a good player. Is he ever going to get enough consistency to be back in contention?
I don't know. I think with Kevin, he needs a lot of runs. He's a very nervous sort of player when he gets to the middle. Once he gets a chance to relax and get in and play, he's one of our best accumulators of runs, especially being a left-hander. He's looked in exceptionally good nick this past couple of weeks. Just hope he can maintain it now and get some runs in the championship tomorrow.
Well, we'll keep an eye on this game here, because obviously at 177 for 6, you need another 40 or 50 runs with another 6 overs to go. 7 overs to go, there's 4 of them, which is quite handy. But while we're on the subject of wickets, I mean, you played Headingley as your home ground. Can I just ask you about whether you felt that England played well or badly?
Well, it's not really for me to say. I mean, the ball swung around and seamed, didn't it? I mean, I didn't see any of the cricket yesterday. It seemed a very strange day's cricket when 17 wickets fall in a day in a test match. There's been lots of criticism voiced about the Headingley pitch. We've had a few interesting ones, let's put it that way. But I don't know. I mean, oh, that's tragic. It's not fair for me to comment if anybody played well or badly. I thought the Indians bowled well, and I thought Graham Dilley bowled exceptionally well on the first morning. Was unlucky not to get a couple of wickets when he swung it out.
Let's just take another look at that wicket that's fallen. You're doing well to concentrate on what I'm saying as opposed to what your team are doing.
Well, I've got definite loyalties at the moment. I want to. That's a pity, that, because Peter Hartley struck the ball very, very sweetly this year. He nearly won the game for us down at Essex. He got 87 not out going in at number 9.
So the game is slipping away from you a bit here, isn't it?
Sadly, we could do with another 30, 40 runs. I mean, we lost it in the middle, and myself getting out, Jim and Philip Robinson, 3 of the main strikers. So we could have done with us staying in and hanging around. Because
Yorkshire won the John Player League in 1983. You're up there in the top 3 at the moment. Have you got the sort of side that you think it can sustain that sort of challenge in the back end of the season?
I think so, yeah, because we've got a lot of depth. We haven't used lots of the lads who played in the Sunday League last year, like Chris Pickles and Chris Shaw, who did a hell of a lot of good for us last year, and Stuart Fletcher. So they haven't come into the side yet. I do believe that we can do something and stay up there. The lads are very confident. They're wanting to win. I mean, we've won games from ridiculous situations this year. I mean, the game against Essex was just incredible. 10 to win off the last 2 balls. And Arnie hits a 4 and a 6. Yet by the same token, we lost a game at Headingley last week, which we should have won against Gloucestershire. So it's a swings and roundabout situation. I think you're going to win games that you shouldn't win, and you're going to lose the odd one where you just fall down.
Speaking of swings and roundabouts, what's happening in Yorkshire cricket these days? Is it a swing or is it a roundabout?
A few slides. Things are going all right up there. I mean, there's the odd article in the press where people try and throw wood on the now fire that's dying out, which we just take no notice of. There's a fair bit of criticism being heaped at a couple of games out of the way that we've played, which I just take with a pinch of salt. I know that inside those 4 walls of the dressing room everybody's happy. They don't take any notice of what goes on outside. We just want to get on and play the game. Closes and everybody are all behind us. It's been we've had a great 2 or 3 months.
Oh, that's good to hear, because they say that when Yorkshire cricket is strong and happy, if you like, then English cricket is. And we could certainly do with a lift, couldn't we, internationally?
Well, yeah, I mean, they've had a very, very tough time during the winter. I mean, you can't, I mean, I went on the last West Indies tour, and I think really you've got to go out there and you've got to try and survive. I was speaking to Roger Harper on Saturday, and he said the pitch in Jamaica was just incredible, the way that it bounced and took off, and plus the fact it was very, very quick.
We're watching Roger Harper bowl now. He's done pretty well, hasn't he? He's only in his 2nd season in first-class cricket in this country, but he's a pretty tidy performer.
Oh, yes, he is.
And what a fielder.
Well, he's a phenomenon at that, isn't he? I was just hoping Phil Carrick don't try to take a one to him. I think it might be Paul that's run out and not Phil, he might not cross.
Looking at Roger Harper in Northamptonshire, you were in the field all yesterday to an innings of 200 by Robert Bailey, who we'll see in action, obviously, when Northants bat. How good a player is he? Because surely England must now be looking around for some new faces, some new ideas. Well,
Robert struck it exceptionally well yesterday. He came in, all right, we let him off the hook, I think it was about 20. But he stood up and he struck it, and he played exceptionally well when he got in. He cashed in on the loose ball. When it was up, he wasn't frightened to hit it over the top either.
He certainly hits the ball hard. Is he good enough to play for England?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's a big step from county cricket to test match cricket, isn't it? He's not going to get as many half volleys in test matches as he is playing county cricket. It'd be interesting to see him play maybe in a one-day international to start with. See if he could do the same things, because he does give it a fair old touch.
Actually, I got some bad news coming through. Oops, that was a great effort by Waterton, but it's gone for 4. And they all count. It doesn't matter how you get them, it's how many. The news is that Arnie Sidebottom has gone off to hospital with a suspected broken forefinger in his bowling hand.
Well, what can one say? That's tragic, that. Plus the fact he's our most experienced bowler, not just in Sunday League but Championship as well. And he's a hell of a fighter, because he's been worried this year about, you know, getting injured and always wanting to play all the time. And something like that happening, it's going to take quite a while to heal now, isn't it?
Well, it's only a suspected broken finger. Let's hope it's only bad bruising.
I hope so.
What have you got by way of reserves then in Yorkshire?
Well, like I've just said, there's Stuart Fletcher, Chris Shaw and Chris Pickles. They're the 3 seamers, and close we've got our 2nd team captain Steve Oldham, who a lot of the lads are calling the veteran. So if he's listening, he'd probably have a go at me for mentioning that over there.
Well, you're picking up 1s and 2s now, but you could have done with Kevin staying out there, Kevin Sharp, until the end, couldn't you?
Yes, we could. I mean, I think that once somebody gets into that situation, you've got to try and hang around. But I mean, Kevin's that kind of player. He kept on chipping the ball around. He did great to get 95. You can't criticise him for anything, really. I thought he played exceptionally well. I think the ones you've got to criticise is a couple of us for not trying to stay in and hang around with him and give the ball into him.
David, what are going to be the tactics then? If you get 191 at the moment, let's say you get 220, shall we say?
We're going to try and ball them out. No, well, we're going to try and keep them down, aren't we? I mean, it's going to be difficult now with not having Arnie here, because that means that Neil Hartley will have to bowl a full 80 overs, whereas he was our supply bowler, you see. You could just nip in if anybody got some tap, but now we don't have anyone else.
Well, you've got a few problems. I'll leave you to go back to the dressing room to sort them out. Thank you very much for coming out and talking to us, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
So, nice to hear from David Bairstow. 5 overs to go after this one. And nearly another Yorkshire batsman gone there. And later in this game, obviously. If Phil Carrick had stayed his ground there might have been runs aplenty on the leg side, but he went with the ball, or perhaps the bowler went with him, and very nearly did everybody, including the wicketkeeper Stuart Wharton. Thirty-seventh over. That's more where he intended to hit the previous one. He should make 2 out of this.
I don't think.
And again, well timed. In fact, too well timed, because it's only going to get.
Please success. We'll join Peter Walker.
They have indeed, Steve, and all our thoughts here are concentrating on that target of 221 to win at 5.52 per over. And we're looking at the moment at Peter Hartley, the man who's taken the 1 wicket to fall, and he's bowling to Robin Boyd-Moss. And like all the faster bowlers so far today in this overcast conditions, he's managed to get some movement in the air and a little bit off the pitch as well. And Hartley, who's I suppose on the sharp side of medium pace off the shorter run, picked up a bit of early stick from Larkins, who hit him through the covers and also glanced him for 4, but he's got his line and length now. And that was just a push down the hill, and that's racing away. But Jimmy Love just gets a glove to it, and that's Kevin Sharp throwing it in. It's 3 runs there. And the Northants total goes on to 44. And we've got 2 balls of this, the 8th over to go. Plenty of batting to come, although, and this was a fabulous catch by David Bairstow, the Yorkshire captain. Started to go perhaps a little down the leg side, ended up by throwing himself full length. It really was a splendid catch. And everybody congratulating the Yorkshire keeper. Let's have another look at that. Bit of movement away from the bat. Bailey not quite behind it. Bailey got 200 in the county championship yesterday, and Bairstow making the catch. Here comes Paul Jarvis. And that's a wide given by umpire Kevin Lyons. And in the Sunday League, the umpires are very, very hot on anything remotely down the leg side.
Once again at Luke.
just adjusting his fielder as the light gets darker. And on his side bottom, you can see the strapping on his index finger of his right hand. He'll be out for at least a week to 10 days. That cracked bone in his forefinger. And really what a problem it is for Yorkshire, because Neil Hartley's coming off as well with that leg injury that he sustained in the last over. And he's really struggling, so Yorkshire down to 9 fit men. And a real problem at 95 for 1 after 18 overs. So there goes Hartley, accompanied by the Northants physiotherapist, and really nothing's going right for David Bairstow today. He was playing so well until he almost blocked one to long off, if that doesn't sound a bit peculiar. Just hit it in the middle, he didn't hit it hard enough, and it just carried as far as long off. He was out for 7. Now, with Hartley gone, having bowled only 4 of his 19 overs, he's got a problem on his hands as to who's going to finish off the bowling. Now we've got the off-spin, the rare off-spin of Jim Love. For 6 is best indeed. His only figures in the John Player League against Sussex at Hove 7 years ago.
And another handsome blow, but this time down to the substitute fielder, Mark Goulsden. Must get hold of the off spinner soon. Happily, Kevin Sharp is all right, I think. Can I have my ball back, please? Whipped away with the spin. Umpire David Evans having no doubt. He's had to give quite a few decisions today, and how good it is to see him back on the circuit after a major operation in the winter. And I don't think he had much hesitation about sending Robin Boyd-Moss on his way here. So Boyd-Moss goes for 28. Two to Cable, down to Simon Dennis. Substitute. Well, that happens in club cricket often enough, but not often in county cricket. So poor Wayne Larkins misses out on 100, and a slightly uncharitable thing for a young professional to do to a senior pro in the side, but that's the part of the honour of cricket. You try your best, obviously, if you come on as a substitute for the opposition, and it was a very well judged catch by Mark Goulston. So Larkins goes for 92. He's given this Luton crowd plenty of rich entertainment, and a wry smile there from young Goulston as Larkins passes him. Let's have another look at the shot which brought about the end of Larkins. He wasn't to the pitch of it, but hit it pretty well, really, on the up. And another 5 yards and it would have cleared the boundary. But very nicely judged catch. Ola, Capel the batsman. Oh, a mix-up here. And he's missed the stumps. Well, certainly a bit of breakdown of communications here between Northamptonshire and Guyana. Capel hesitating, and it really ought to have been run out. Jarvis, I think, did right to take the ball, because it might not have hit, but unfortunately his throw didn't hit either. So Capel survives. So the rate is still 5.36, which is roughly what they've been chasing all along. It's not over yet. Chipped towards square leg, but placed to perfection, and in fact just getting there for 6. That's a pretty good shot. And he does hit it so hard, Harper. Simon Dennis continuing. He's had a serious illness last season, Dennis, so it's good to see him fit and firing again for Yorkshire. The nephew of Sir Leonard Hutton. And I hope he's dispatched his birthday card to Sir Leonard, who, of course, becomes 70 years of age tomorrow. And that's beautifully timed again by Capel. What a beautiful shot. A half volley admittedly, but how superbly it was dispatched. And on his side bottom, one of them really quite a serious injury. And that's one, and I think they'll come back for the second. So Northamptonshire have won this John Player League match, technically on a faster run rate because of the reduced target, but that man Capel playing capably and sustaining his good form of this season, which has already seen him get 2 first-class hundreds. And Roger Harper proving himself once again to be one of the most formidable all-round cricketers in the world. So there is the Northants card. Wayne Larkins playing the major innings. Robert Bailey, 200 not out here yesterday, falling to Peter Hartley for 13, and Hartley picking up the other 2 wickets to fall to in an excellent bowl. But somehow, even before the rain came, one felt that Yorkshire hadn't got quite enough runs on what is a fast-scoring ground with a quick outfield, a pitch with a bit of pace in it. So 4 valuable points for Northamptonshire to keep them very much in the running for this year's John Player title. With they were 4 points in arrears of Yorkshire, but they had games in hand today, and now Northants are very much in the running for the title this year, I think. With this powerful batting side, they're going to take a lot of beating. And let's find out, in fact, what has been happening in the